extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 47 years ago, stand by the Roll Show intro. Roll Show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes, the one, the only. Today is the 16th of October, 2024, and we're going to dive into a couple things here real quick and have a little discussion concerning two tiers of everything in this nation. Tears meaning T-I-E-R-E-S, not crying tears, though these tears of justice and tears of everything we have going on should make you cry. But that's not the ones we're talking about. Tears meaning levels, or, levels of effect, or just tears of everything. Anyways, it's a simple thing to ask. It's a question. I want you to think about it for just a second. It's called, do we live in a two-tiered nation? Do we live in a two-tiered nation? Is every aspect of our lives affected by a tiered system? Okay, if you believe there's at least two, maybe more tiers of everything going on in this nation, including equality. And if most of the people in this country believe there is more than two levels or three tiers or whatever, and equality is included in that belief, then we live in a nation that does not have equality. Equality, not equity, equality. Meaning everybody is treated the same. Not everybody has the same outcome. That's equity. Equality is the same opportunities, the same standing before a judge you have. If you're homeless, you have the same rights and are going to be looked at the same as a billionaire. And your rights will be protected the same. That's what I'm talking about. But the question is, if we believe that there is two tiers, and I do believe we are living in a nation right now that has two, maybe more tiers of everything going on. And that tells me one thing. This nation has gone over the edge and has become nothing but corrupt and moving towards evil. So, what evidence do we have? What can we say? What things can we point out and look at with open eyes, and don't put the blinders on and say that, no, everything's going great because I'm a Democrat and everything's going fine with the government doing all these things. No, I don't want you doing that. And I don't want you, if you're a Republican, saying, well, we're trying to work hard at doing this and trying to make people have freedom, stuff like that. No. Let's just look at this honestly. Let's look at this and say, do we have two tiers? And how are we going to fix this? And if you're a certain party with a D on the front of it, you really don't care if there's two tiers. You squawk about it, but you won't do anything to fix it. You bellyache about it, but you don't work in any way to correct it. You point at others while you promote two tiers of everything. We'll get to the one point that I want to in a second here. We'll start with education. Does everybody have the same access, the same rights, the same freedom, abilities, and equality to go and pursue a good education? No. But is there free education out there where you can work hard? Let's back up. Is there a free taxpayer, free to you, taxpayer paid education for you to learn how to do some basic things called reading, writing, arithmetic, geography, history, stuff like that? Yes, that's out there. Are all of the school systems throughout the nation equal? No. And that's a good thing. Democrats would love to have all of them the same, controlled by the federal government under the Department of Education. That is the last thing we need to have anything done, and actually we need to get rid of the Department of Education. But I'm going to talk about that later. I have a whole thing on education that we're going to talk about on another podcast. We have 50 experiments, and we should have 50 experiments in this nation going on to see who can come up with the best ideas. And then other states are supposed to take and go, wow, such and such state, has a really good education system. Their kids score the highest in the nation. Ours are scoring towards the bottom. What are they doing right, and how can we fix that? But you're not going to see that. You will not see that happen in any low-performing state in their school system, because most of those systems are run by Democrats, and their first loyalty is not to the children and getting them educated. Their first loyalty is always to the teachers' union. Now, teachers teaching the necessities are awesome. Teachers' union promoting political and ideological beliefs is wrong. So we'll move on to college. Does everybody have the same freedom and the same rights to go to Harvard or Yale? I don't know why you would want to go to any of those indoctrination camps, but let's just say we'll call that the standard, the gold standard for education in college. Does everybody have that right? Does everybody have that freedom? No. Because those schools only allow the cream of the crop. Well, they used to. But when one certain race became too dominant in their education system and they were starting to have too many Asians get into Harvard, of course the first thing Harvard and the education system had to say is we have to stop those people who are excelling in education and getting into our school, and we have to open it up for those of lower education that aren't getting as good grades because, too many Asians is bad, and not enough blacks is bad, and not enough Hispanics are bad, and flat out any whites are bad. We should allow a couple whites in, but mainly we need to get more minorities whose test scores are lower and haven't performed as well, but to make it fair. That's not equality. That's forced equity. That's forced outcome-based education. It's wrong. But Democrats don't care. It's their ideology over what's best for people. And how about opportunity? Opportunity in all aspects of, we'll say, the economy, all aspects of any part of your life to excel in anything you want to excel in. Spending the nation into oblivion, running inflation through the roof, businesses not being able to hire people because of that, because the costs have gone through the roof, destroys opportunity. Yet you Democrats just do it left, right, and center every chance you get. Spend, spend, spend other people's money, and to hell with the consequences, and to hell with the people, because, we really don't care about them too much. We only care about our power and becoming the dominant party forever and ever. To tiers of economic and opportunity, yeah, absolutely. Caused by ideology and government. But here's the worst and the scariest one right now. How about justice? We have constitutional amendments to say everyone has equal standing before the law. Everybody's constitutional rights must be protected by judges over all things going on in the courtroom. We watch, and we have seen through our lives, cases get thrown out for people who have committed heinous crimes, for murder, rape, because the police or the district attorneys, prosecutors, violated the accused person's rights. I find that horrible that that person is released on something like that, but it would always make me go, at least the judge was protecting his rights over all else. That is the first duty of a judge. Now we have judges that have been going after anyone who disagrees with their political bent, like Donald Trump or anybody who, the January 6th, punishing them over and over again, finding them guilty of no crime, but making up crimes, making up criminal code, making up everything they can find to violate their rights and upholding the crimes against them over their rights. That's two tiers of justice. Dinesh D'Souza donated money the wrong way to a campaign. And usually the Justice Department would come to somebody, because it happens all the time in campaigns. People donate in the wrong manner, and when it's found out, they go to them and say, hey, you've got to pull the money back, and here's your fine of $500 or $1,000, okay? Don't do it again. Done. No, Dinesh D'Souza, the only person that's really been prosecuted on that, had to go to jail for it because he stands up against tyranny in the Democrat Party. He stands up against people abusing freedom and liberty. He made a mistake. He should pay for it. But anybody else, especially if you're a Democrat and you donated too much money to a campaign, you would be fined for it. Two tiers of justice. Putting people in jail, trying to put people in jail for no crimes. Disregarding the statute of limitations. Finding people guilty of felonies when there's nothing more than, at the most, that it would be a misdemeanor and a fine, and then trying to put them in jail. violation after violation after violation of rights because people are on different tiers. And the train keeps going down the track, and it's wrong. So, moving on. Let me pull my notes. I had written a couple notes down. Oh, this can be summed up in so many things about what's going on in our nation. It's a saying from a long time ago, but I think it's true. You can tell how corrupt a nation is by how wealthy the politicians become while they're in office. I rest my case. Right there, that sums up everything. And I'm telling you right now that the politicians are in there and they have made themselves immune other than a fine if they do insider trading, and they do it all the time. And they don't even pay it unless they get called on the carpet and they go, oops, yep, I traded all this stock because I knew all these things were going to be bought by the government, and so I bought stock in it and I made $5 million. And how much is the fine? $500? Yeah, I'm sorry, here's the fine. You do that, you go to jail. You go to prison. Ask Martha Stewart. But if you're a politician, you're an elite. You're on that high level. You're on that high tier. Everybody else is way below you. The laws are for everybody else. And before anyone sits there and says, yeah, those Democrats are horrible about it, I've seen who makes the most money. I've seen the write-up on it. And I'm telling you right now, it's both parties. And people you wouldn't even expect, and people you would go, duh, yeah, they're on it all the time. That's all they do. That's why we have a Nancy Pelosi that walks in there making $200,000 a year, and she's worth $140 million now. Wonder how that happened. There are two levels of everything going on in this country. It is evil, it is wrong, and it needs to be stopped. The answer isn't just voting in Donald Trump. The answer is finding ways of getting people in there that are committed to fixing the system and upholding the system. Getting a Donald Trump in there is a good start, but then you got to get somebody in the Justice Department, clean that thing out, fire everybody you can, and then bring in people whose first loyalty is to the Constitution of the United States, not the Democrat Party, because that's where we're at right now. The first loyalty of the FBI is to the Democrat Party, not to the Constitution that they swore an oath to. The first loyalty of the CIA is to the Democrat Party, not to the nation and the Constitution of the United States. We have to change the people at the top in these organizations. We have to get rid of unnecessary or unconstitutional aspects of our government. It's the only way we're going to fix some of this stuff. Your job is to help get people in there that can do this. In less than 3 weeks. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to vote? Are you going to go tell a friend? Are you going to grab some people and say, let's get out here and vote? The only way to stop this evil Democrat Party is to vote them out of office and get them out of there. And don't let them anywhere near anything that has power. Are you going to do that? Are you going to tell your friends to do it? Get your butt off the couch. Start making calls. Start talking. Start pushing everything you can out there. Your rights, freedoms, liberties are all going to be infringed on and destroyed if Kamala Harris becomes president. So, it's up to you. You decide what you want to do. But when you choose wrong and you vote Democrat, just remember, don't cry to anybody, especially to us, when we tried to tell you that the reason you aren't able to do things you want to do and your freedoms are gone is because, you didn't vote. You voted poorly. So until we meet again on the next topic and the next subject, which will be very soon, I hope, Mr. Talbot Snow, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.